Carl Sagan predicted TikTok all the way back in 1995. All right, so who is Carl Sagan? Carl Sagan was an astrophysicist and science communicator, probably best known for his work on the television series The Cosmos, which was also based on a book he wrote. And in my opinion, he's almost definitely the greatest science communicator of all time, and he is one of the best authors for popular science writing in the history of the world. But how did he predict TikTok? Well, he predicted TikTok in his 1995 book, The Demon Haunted World. And in this passage, which I'm now going to show you, he describes a phenomenon that is kind of like a dumbing down of America. And this probably doesn't just affect America, but since Carl Sagan himself was American, that's what he wrote about first. So let's read it. I have a foreboding of an America in my children or grandchildren's time, when the United States is a service and information economy, when all the key manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues. When the people have a lost ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority. When clutching at our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true. We slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming. Credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance. Now, that last little bit about how our media is transforming from hour to half-hour shows into these 10, 15-second little sound bites is absolutely what TikTok is. And if you are on TikTok, you should be well aware that snake oil salesmen, charlatans, and the like are some of the most popular people on this app. And the people on this app that try to have more substantive content oftentimes either go completely unnoticed, or even they get attacked and are met with hostility by trolls on TikTok because they challenge the bias. So it's entering in a new era of superstition and dogma in a way. And it's also very, very much so a celebration of ignorance, a glorification of anti-intellectualism. And this is true for the content I make. For example, I had a recent video to where I pointed out a 10-second soundbite by Thierry Henry saying that young soccer players probably where he said young soccer players should not be going to the gym and doing strength training. I pointed out that literally all the evidence suggests that this is not the case, and that young soccer players can and should probably go to the gym to supplement their soccer skills. Immediately met with hostility. How dare you question the infallible God Emperor of soccer development, Thierry Henry? Don't you know who he is? Because when we have the glorification of anti-intellectualism, even daring to challenge dogma from an authority like Thierry Henry is the equivalent of blasphemy. It doesn't matter that all the evidence also disagrees with Thierry Henry. Evidence is not what matters. It's continuing the narrative, continuing the dogmatic, superstitious, and no critical thinking narrative that everyone wants to hear and never challenging it. It's conformist, it's anti-intellectual, and it's everything you should stand against. So please, TikTok is not inherently evil, but please try to use your brain and try to question things, question authorities. You don't want to live your entire life as a sheep.